Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today I'm joined by Susan, Ethan, and Connor, and we are talking a sequel, a 2005 sequel to a huge franchise, which seems to be never ending. We are talking Star Wars, of course, and this one is Revenge of the Sith. This was the prequel saga, the last in the prequels. For many people, many fans say this is the best one out of the first three prequels. So, without further ado, we'll go around these guys here with their opening thoughts on Revenge of the Sith. Let's see who's not a big Star Wars fan. Susan, you're not a big Star Wars fan, are you?
No, not at all. Wearing my Grogu pants and my Millennium Falcon. Yeah, I'm not a very big Star Wars fan, but I am a very big Star Wars fan, and I've been a very big Star Wars fan since 1977. I think that this was a decent sequel. I was always so jacked to see it. I saw it in the theater. I waited in line, like you do, and bought my ticket, and like you do, and was, blown away like you do. The trouble is like there was there was a lot of schmaltzy stuff in these prequels, and there was stuff that wasn't up to snuff, and but this one had a bunch of badass saber battles, like really badass saber battles, and really set the after Phantom Menace and Clone and excuse me, Attack of the Clones. This one really had the the edge, so to speak, of the saber battles, and the penultimate, no, well, the apex battle between Anakin, who was just dubbed Vader, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was fantastic. And let me see, I have a lot of things to say about it. I'll probably wait till the second go around to get into most of it, so that my mates here can put their opening thoughts in too. So back to you, Lee.
Thank you, Susan. Yes, as you can tell, she's not a big fan. Let's go to another, someone who hates these movies. Connor. He hates everything.
Well, you may remember the Attack of the Clones review.
Yes. Well, how can we forget?
Yeah, there will be no repeat here. I actually, I think that this is the best of the prequels. It's not much better than Attack of the Clones, but it's the best of the prequels, and it's actually watchable and rewatchable. The dialogue is shit. It really is. It's piss poor. But like Susan said, it's got good action, and it's really dark. There's some incredibly dark stuff in there, including Daddy Issues Skywalker slaughtering younglings, and Obi-Wan Kenobi under his huge hand and beard laughing about it. But oh yes, he slaughtered the younglings. I mean,
many funny meme.
What the fuck was Ewan McGregor thinking? I mean, laughing at something like that. But yeah, I I like the first 25 minutes, to be honest, the General Grievous sort of stuff with Count Dooku. Um, it's a shame that they didn't do more with Count Dooku because um, I think he was a good villain, but I see why they had to do that because that's when you started to kind of sense that Palpatine was a wrong un because he not only did he change his voice to his Sidious voice, but he was egging Anakin on to kill Count Dooku. So it's kind of you can kind of see from the very beginning Palpatine's persuasion over Anakin. He's got a huge hold over him, and that just keeps building and building and building and building until it's literally unbreakable. Anakin is completely lost as soon as I think as soon as Obi-Wan goes to Utapau, that's it for Anakin. There's no going back. He's pretty much turned to the dark side. Yeah, Yoda is a badass in this. I love I love when he just kind of oh, what's the word? Um like some old man just goes into the office of Palpatine, like bald as brass, no guards with him or anything. He didn't do and actually I will come on to another point. And he just takes out the two guards. On the other hand, Mace fucking Windu, what the fuck was his plan? Because he didn't even consult the council. He just went straight to Palpatine's office with three other Jedi knights that got slaughtered in about 5 seconds each. And I cannot get over that scene. Whenever I see it, I always laugh because Kit Fisto and I can't remember the other two's name, but these are powerful Jedi's. Like the seen in law, they're referred to in law and like in the encyclopedias and everything as Jedi masters, strong Jedi masters. Palpatine took them down like they were fucking dominoes. It's just I don't get what that was about, to be honest. I thought that they should have put up. I mean, Kit did put up a little bit of a fight, but not much. The other two just useless. Um, the worst bit, I think, that the saddest bit is when it kind of jumps between all the different Jedi masters on the various planets, getting shot out of the sky or getting slaughtered on the ground during Order 66. It really is a dark movie, and I think the story is all right. Actually, I do like when Mace dies. I think after the General Grievous stuff, I think from then on it's a pretty good film. It might not be the best written film in the world, but you can actually watch it, and it is pretty shocking. Um, um, I'm all. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the fight at the end between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and I know that every Star Wars fan says, "Oh, well, it's the greatest lightsaber fight ever." I prefer the one between Sidious and Yoda, to be honest with you, because that one's more interesting. I feel like the Obi-Wan and Anakin one, apart from the high ground bit, which is also hilarious and has since become a meme. I just find that the Sidious and Yoda one was that should have gone on. I think what they should have done is had them both at pretty much the same length of time and go on kind of concurrently, so you keep jumping backwards and forwards between, because it's master and master against master and apprentice, and it's kind of the one between Yoda and Sidious could have just exploded, that. And when them two fight, it's like shit's going down because they're the two strongest what's the word? The two strongest people on either side.
Strongest beings in the universe.
Yeah, pretty much strongest beings in the universe, and also the strongest beings within their ideology. So Jedi and Sith. Yeah, I just think that the Sidious and Yoda one should have gone on a bit longer, but that is my favorite lightsaber fight in this film. Yeah, Ian McDiarmid, I think, stole it. Ewan McGregor was good as always. Hayden Christensen was bad. Slightly better than Attack of the Clones, but still bad. He just can't act. I'd like to see what they do with him in the Obi-Wan TV series under good writing, actually, and probably better direction. I think George Lucas let it down as well in certain ways. But yeah, so it's a good movie, actually, other than that.
All the negativity he says there, and it's a good movie.
It's got good action. Okay.
Well, that's all you can ask for. It's a Star Wars movie. What do you expect?
Yeah, at least this one's actually got lightsaber fights, unlike fucking most of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Let's go over to Mr. Ethan. Over to you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, I agree with Connor. Pretty much everything he said there. This is, I still can't believe how old it is, because I do remember seeing this at the cinema. This is the best of the prequel trilogy, because shit goes down big time. I did find myself watching it, just watching it again. It's the victim of so many memes, and just as you said, the dialogue, some of it is hilarious. Like even at the start, just some of the dialogue is just, I found myself laughing at bits at the start and stuff. But then halfway through, when it gets really dark, when Palpatine reveals himself to be Sidious, which my dad worked out years before in 1999. I think I mentioned this in the review of Phantom of the Menace, when he's looking at this book, and then he was looking, give me that picture of Palpatine. What? Covers his face. That's him. That's the Emperor. What?
So it wasn't a giveaway that he was the Emperor in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, well, I think my dad just wasn't quite sure, but we look back on it and you're like, oh yeah, we recognize. Now you look back on the actor, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. He was funny enough. I mean, as we've said, Ian McDiarmid in this is bloody brilliant. But I'll get to favorite moments later about him and talk about him at favorite moments. I've picked certain moments so I don't overtake, and everybody else can have some. But no, it is a good movie. It's a watchable movie, and there's some again, come favorite moments. There's some funny quotes from Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff. It is just like where the birth of Darth Vader, the dark times, the Empire is born. There are some moments I was a bit, hang on a minute, could we have had more of these characters at least, please? Understandable why, so Palpatine could come in and say, I'm Sidious, blah, 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 Anakin's mine. But I would have loved more of Christopher Lee, because he was just brilliant. Not a fan of the Attack of the Clones, but he was the best part of Attack of the Clones. He was just brilliant. We got more of Dooku in the Clone Wars series, both the 2D animation series and the CGI animated series, where he's brilliant. He's a great villain, Dooku. And it's funny because I was going to bring this up, and Connor said about Kit Fisto and the other two. I can't remember the other two's name, but they were in the animated series. Powerful as anything. And they got their own solo episodes and stuff like that. Really powerful. And come the movie, we'll just fucking kill them. Bye-bye. Hold on a minute, they just did all that in the Clone Wars. No, it's all right. But
was this movie before the animated series?
No, the animated series was before this.
Because this is 2005. So the animated series was before this.
Yeah, 2005. It was the animated series, the 2D animated series done by, I can never pronounce his name, but it's the guy who did Samurai Jack.
Oh, I know you mean. Yeah,
Yeah, Janada Tatus, whatever his bloody name is. He did Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, and Dexter's Laboratory. But so it was before this, and you get to learn about General Grievous, who's another great character. It introduced some great characters and stuff that we got more of in the CGI series. I mean, Grievous is a great villain. He's a great, fantastic villain. I loved him. Ewan McGregor, I loved. I mean, he does look like a young Ben Kenobi. You know, Alec Guinness. He just looks like him. Hayden Christensen, I just laugh at this. I mean, he's a nice. I'm sure he's a nice guy in real life, but in this, it's just so flat. The acting is even the animated series has more of a animated, but it is even the animated version's more animated, but and it has more expression and stuff like that. He's just very flat, and I just did some moments. I just found myself almost trying not to giggle and stuff. But it is it does have some great fights in it. It does have some great Star Wars moments in it. And it is. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it and stuff like that. Great final showdowns. And so, yeah, I enjoyed watching it. It'll never be as great as the actual proper trilogy, the old classic trilogy. But was this a good film? It is the best of a trilogy. So it is enjoyable. It does have some pretty good moments that wrap up the prequel and set up good old Darth Vader at the end with the Empire. And a certain guy who I think they got in to play Peter Cushing's character at the end, which was quite...
And you know who he was?
What, the actor?
Well, I can't. To be honest, I can't remember his name now, but I'm sure it's Wayne somebody or other. I think he's an Australian actor. He's most well known for Farscape. Plays Scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
When you said Farscape, I just clicked.
I was going to say, because in Rogue One, it was Guy Henry.
Yeah.
Was this one person?
Yeah, it was a different person. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Wayne something, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not the best movie, but it is the best of a trilogy, and it is enjoyable. And I did enjoy. I did have fun watching this. There's some very, like I said, funny quotes which I'll get to later on, and it's just so many memes that I couldn't help but. Over time, you just over the years that have passed now, you just watch it, you recognize these bits, and you just go. But I enjoyed it. You know, I love Star Wars. You know, whether it's good or bad, I'll give it a shot. You know, but I haven't watched these for a while, and yeah, it's a good movie. It's a decent movie. So cool. Over to you guys.
Thanks, Ethan. Like several people have said, that I went to the cinema to watch this one. And I'm not a big fan of cinema, sitting in a cinema watching movies, but you know, sitting on the back row in the dark, what do you do? You know, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
We need to do a podcast on this, because I don't understand how you can be such a huge fan of movies, but you don't like the cinema.
I don't know. I've just never been a fan of sitting in a dark place with people munching away on popcorn.
There's something blasphemous about that. But I think we should do a debate.
When I was sitting in the dark, hello there, sexy.
Well, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we digress.
Somebody's going to get it tonight. Well, who are you?
Well, I think Connor mentioned it first about some of the dialogue does suck. It is bad dialogue. But what you've got to realise is, I mean, I don't know if the dialogue is written that way on purpose, because Star Wars is based on the Saturday matinee serials of the 1930s, 40s, you know, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, and they were bad dialogue. It was just fun for kids watching a superhero on the screen. You know, the dialogue, people didn't think into the dialogue. It was just there. And George Lucas was a big fan of that era. he was, and this is how he set up the plot lines of Star Wars based on the Saturday matinee movies. So he must be maybe unconsciously or subconscious, not unconsciously, subconsciously. He didn't do it unconsciously. Maybe made it that way to, be reminiscent of the Saturday matinee sort of feel vibe. I mean, I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I love anything science fiction-ish sometimes. But yes, some are better than others. And I agree with everybody what says. This is the better of the three prequels. Yes, I agree. Count Dooku should have been in it more, but we had him in the one before. He was the main villain in Attack. Like we had Darth Maul in Phantom. The main villain in this one was, well, it was 50-50 Grievous and the Emperor. You see, I didn't know the animated series was before, because I was hoping you'd say it was after, and the mostly was giving all these characters backstories.
Only one animated series, and it was there was a whole second Clone War series produced after this, and then a whole Star Wars Rebels, which actually precedes Episode 4.
Right.
I'll get into my knowledge of those the second time around.
But yeah, I know what you say about hating the acting, blah, all this, like, but to be honest, after these three movies, the two movies, not three, the two movies he was in, honestly, I can't see anybody else playing that character. You know what I mean? I can't think of anybody else playing that character now, because it's so, engraved on, in the Star Wars history and legacy that he is Anakin. So you can say whatever you like about his acting, but that's the characterization of Anakin.
That's true. That is true, actually.
As Ewan McGregor, as always, and it's been said, you could see the younger version of Obi-Wan. Do you realize Obi-Wan in New Hope was only 19 years away from this? Didn't age well, did he?
I think it was all that sun, wasn't it? All that sun and Tatooine, even the aunt and the uncle, they looked a bit not well aged, did they? You're thinking, fucking hell, what happened to you guys?
But no, it is a good action movie. This is all you do. You don't need an high IQ to enjoy these movies. Sit back, kick your shoes off, have a drink, just watch it and enjoy it. That's all you do.
I also didn't realize until they announced the Obi-Wan cast about, was it two or 3 weeks ago now, that Joel Edgerton played Uncle Owen. I totally either I knew that and forgot it, or I didn't know that, and it just completely. But yeah, wow! I didn't even realize that Joel Edgerton had been in Star Wars before. So that's another thing about this movie. That just shows how much I've been paying attention to the prequels.
Well, you'd be surprised. People don't realize there's well-known names in these movies, be it voice acting, be it in a costume, and you don't even know. I tell you something though. What did get me thinking? I'm thinking, no, that's wrong. When Obi-Wan and Yoda went to the hall with the younglings and all like that, and Obi-Wan was giggling away behind his hand. They were calling Palpatine Emperor, right? But at that same time, Palpatine was just announcing the new.
It was just announced.
It was just announcing the Empire, and it was happening at the same time. This, So why was Obi-Wan and Yoda saying Emperor when they didn't know anything about what was going on in the Senate at the time? They shouldn't have been calling him Emperor.
Somebody didn't think about the writing on that point.
Or bad editing.
Plot hole.
Oh,
Yeah. Wrong time, wrong editing here. Whoops.
I only noticed it. I mean, I've seen this movie a few times, and I've only just noticed it this week when I rewatched it again. I think, hold on a minute, he just called him Emperor.
Wow, that was quick. That was about 5 seconds. He just got announced, and you've just arrived.
He's just up there in his flying disc going on about the new empire. Anyways, enough of my going off on a tangent. Shall we go to favourite moments and things you're not so keen on? We won't go to Ethan first because he'll use up every favourite moment. Let's go to Connor.
One favourite moment that I hope no one else had in mind, actually, that is quite good, because I don't think it gets recognised enough, is Padme's line when during that scene that you've just been speaking about then. Palpatine announces himself as this emperor of this newly established empire, and she said, what's the exact line? This is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause. For shit dialogue throughout the rest of the film, I think George Lucas must have been on drugs when he wrote that one, because that one was all right.
I think she said democracy.
Was it democracy?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I think the point of the line is still the same anyway. Yeah, that's one of my. I actually thought Natalie Portman was all right in this. She's the one I think that has been most offensively misused throughout the entire prequels, because I know that she didn't win the Oscar until after she was in Star Wars, but she's an Oscar-winning actress. You know, she deserves better than frigging what she got in all three films, really. But she's good in Revenge of the Sith. She gives Anakin this humanity that I think if he otherwise didn't have, you'd really hate Anakin. But the whole kind of thing about, you know, he wants to save her life is kind of makes sense, and it is one. It kind of then makes sense why he goes the way that he goes, becoming Darth Vader. Another great scene is the Plagueis scene where Ian McDermott gives the performance of the movie and tells Anakin about Plagueis the Wise. Yeah. And ever since that, everyone has wanted them to explore that. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing that, because Palpatine killed Plagueis, if I remember correctly, while he was sleeping. So Palpatine is one real, rotten egg of a guy, rotten apple. And I think that whole story, that whole warped relationship between Palpatine and Plagueis, as described by Palpatine in that one scene, could make a TV series. It could be a limited 6-part thing on Disney Plus. I think that, and I remember then when Snoke was announced for the sequels, everyone was like, "Oh, that's Plagueis," but it wasn't. It was actually just a puppet of Palpatine's. But yeah, I think most of the great scenes in this are conversations, because that one with Padme was in the middle of a Senate meeting, and then you obviously had Palpatine and Anakin at the opera. Other than that, the action scenes that I quite enjoyed I liked the beginning with the space battle. that was better than the one in episode 1, Phantom Menace. I didn't like that one as much as the episode 3 one. I think that was a really strong start to the film. As I said, I like all the Order 66 stuff. It really is a gut punch when you see all of these Jedi Knights get slaughtered the way that they did. Yeah, what I do like the scene also when Anakin is marching to the temple and you just see these reams and reams and reams of clone troopers soon to become stormtroopers. I don't know what happened to their aim between switching ranks, but you know, and that's a really good scene. And actually, I think John Williams, that the soundtrack during that particular scene is one of my favorite bits of Star Wars music.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually Vader's theme or if that was Anakin's theme or if it was just one that to suit the scene. But that's a really strong soundtrack. John Williams, like, I don't know about John Williams, to be honest, because I feel like the prequel music it didn't always stand out to me. I could tell you any bit of music from the originals, like the Two Sons or the Twin Sons on Tatooine theme, all that sort of stuff. I couldn't tell you many prequels pieces, but I think in this particular film, John Williams with the darker kind of tone did really well with it. I also like the scene when Anakin goes to Mustafar and slaughters all the Trade Federation guys.
He's
That-
Connor's just so evil and dark sided, isn't he?
that's quite a good scene. Yeah, that's it really.
You know what you just mentioned, the Palpatine killing his Plagueis. Very reminiscent of what Luke tried to do
With Kylo,
to
yeah.
Ben. Yeah, Kylo.
Yeah.
Just for I'll bring that up there.
Well, yeah, that's
That could have gone. That could have gone.
Yeah, well, I think Last Jedi haters think that Ryan Johnson's a fucking nutter for doing that to Luke. I don't know if I was on the review for The Last Jedi. It's a shame if I wasn't, but I don't even mind Luke's character in that one, to be honest. But anyway, I digress.
We digress. We do a lot of digressing.
We do a lot of digressing.
Come on then, Susan, over to you. You see, I'm leaving Ethan till last. You're muted, Susan.
Okay, I've got quite a few notes here.
Oh.
First, to answer Connor's talk about Plagueis, he's described many times in Rebels. Kanan Jarrus actually meets him in an old Sith temple. He's a Force sort of he's a Force fear inducer, and so Plagueis was galaxy wide, and that's why Palpatine killed him. That's why that's why Sidious offed him, because he wanted galaxy wide influence, and Sidious hadn't developed that as a Sith apprentice, as a Sith, second. So that's why he killed him in his sleep, because he wanted a smooth transition, and he wanted all the power or all the influence of the whole galaxy. And so that's what he got, and that's how he was able to change things. Dooku was described a lot in the Clone Wars with his apprentice Ventress, And so Dooku was also given quite a significant, quite a big chunk of television time to develop a character and to really show what an amazing thing. Not played. None of these characters were played by the movie characters for primarily financial reasons. But yeah, they were amazing. And I liked the opera scene with the bubbles, and the bubbles really represented the Sith and how the power was able to merge with that which had been developed by Jedi's, were these sort of explosions, and then boom, it was able to transform a person as they move bubble to bubble. And so that was really a cool visual to go along with that nightmare scene. And let's see, I thought that Obi-Wan and Yoda were really brave to return to the temple after all that carnage. And another scene that was important about that was they didn't show Grogu being absconded away, but R2 was around in the temple. You know.
Yeah, I think at the end of Mandalorian season 2, it was kind of hinted.
Kind of hinted, right?
Yeah. The R2
that he was pushed inside like the casing of R2, along with Jimmy V. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is Jimmy V a Jedi as well?
No, Jimmy V is R2.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, I got to meet him at Gallifrey 1, and he was great. He was a great guy. And Commander Cody was like he became they really based Rex and some of the other clone commanders off Commander Cody and his intimacy with the Jedi, and so that's really expanded out. And I loved I loved how Anakin was played like an angry boy, like just an angry boy all the time. And so we got to see that angry boy grow into angry young man, grow into angry man. So like the personality of Hayden Christensen wasn't part of that growth. I mean, it was all these little outbursts, and the outbursts were getting bigger and bigger and having bigger and bigger consequences all the way through Clone Wars, all the way through all of the animation, all the way through all of it, even from like his anger at the as a little kid in Phantom. There are these bubbles of outbursts. So Hayden Christensen didn't have much to work with outside of those outbursts. So that's where he went, as an actor. And it's serialized. It's like what Lee was saying. And Obi-Wan was well, our own Scottish Obi-Wan here, Ethan, was like he had a powerful moment where he was forced to use a gun, a blaster at Grievous. And so I mean, yes, he'd physically like pulled the breast, those breastbones apart, and had reached in and touched the heart, and he knew then how to kill him, and then it was only a matter of time before a blaster was right there and he would shoot him.
So what you're saying is I'm like Obi-Wan and I know how to shoot someone in the heart and then say, so uncivilized.
So uncivilized. Yes, exactly.
Just like our group.
I know how to burn
Basically.
someone up. Well, I'll take that as a compliment, I guess.
And Ahsoka, the Ahsoka connection with Vader was completely written out of this, which is amazing. But that's really where his character is developed and her character is developed, is in that Padawan master relationship, and then the funny things in this movie are the yells. There's a bunch of what are they called? Wilhelm screams, and then there's one where a Wookiee is swinging on a vine, and he does the Tarzan yell. I mean, I was just like, that's not from this. That's not from this universe. That's funny. I thought that was great, and actually, you know, the truth is that it wasn't Vader who killed Padme. It wasn't depression. It was the dark side. She was being actively courted by Palpatine in episode 1. In episode 2, she is being thwarted at every turn by Palpatine, and then through the animation series, she is forced to reckon with the whole weight of war, and dealing with Palpatine as trying to be an equal to Palpatine, because she was actually his queen, for crying out loud. She felt bigger than him until he put her in her place when you know, he achieved the turnover for Anakin. So basically, Palpatine destroyed Padme's life, and he took the dark side really took Padme out. It was just terrible what they did.
I like that explanation better than she died of a broken heart.
Yeah, she was fucked up all the way through. I mean, like he was not able to. He got his galaxy-wide influence when he killed his master, but she was trying to stay equal to that and battle that, but she didn't know that he was dark side, but he was totally dark side, and he totally killed her. He wanted her and he couldn't have her, and so he stole her husband and then he killed her. I mean, that's intense. That's like the next movie that we're going to be talking about, which is oh my god, which is coming up in our second podcast. And then let's see. I loved Palpatine aping Sylvester McCoy and his unlimited power. That was Palpatine being Doctor Who. It was Palpatine totally bringing that, and so like that was that, and then is that all my notes? Yeah. So over to you, Lee.
Thank you, Susan. Well, let's hope that we've left something for Ethan to pick through.
You have actually. Can we? Right.
I know. I just went off my notes. I didn't want to screw with anything that anybody else was going to say.
First bits that we've not meant. Right. First is actually 2 segments. Well, I love Ewan McGregor's bloody quotes in this. 2 things. Not to worry, we're still flying half a ship, and the legendary, the bloody legendary. Hello there. I'll tell you, when that thing came up and Grievous is getting ready, whatever he's doing, and Ewan McGregor jumps in, I just couldn't help but my grin just got bigger and bigger, because you know it's been used so many times, and he just goes, hello there. I love that bit. And also, I'm going to mention this. Can we talk about the most brutal, bloody character in Star Wars history and in this bloody film? Not only is he the most explicit character, they bleep out all his words, but R2-D2 Fucking out of nowhere. You know what I'm getting at? The most bro bloody character ever. R2D2, this little droid that we thought, oh, he's a cute little droid. You know, bleeps out all this swear words. It's when those two big droids come along. What are you doing here? What are you? Pick him up. He bloody oil slicks them and then just goes, fuck this, blows them up and burns them alive. I actually watched this. I was like, Jesus, I forgot how brutal R2D2 is in this. He's a killer. He's savage. And he just walks away, doesn't he? Like a psychopath going, yeah, those droids are burnt them. Brutal. Most brutal character in Star Wars. And he doesn't give a shit. That bit, I was howling with laughter because I just thought, I really haven't forgotten how much of a killer he is. R2D2, this little chubby droid. Burn! burn him into bloody well done droids. The droids in this actually were really funny. The droids of the villain side, the dark side. I mean, they're just hilarious. You know, they all do like at the start. I love the whole opening with the spaceship and all that. And they're just funny, you know, when the ship's blowing up and you see all of them going, trying to think. I mean, I love the showdown between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Grievous. And I do love Palpatine. Ian McDiarmid stole a lot of it in this as well. I love his evolution from Senator Palpatine, blah, 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 into Darth Sidious and then the Emperor. It's really good. And you see how he gets that sort of look that we knew him as. Yeah. And he's played this nearly all his life. I mean, how old was he? 35, 36 when he first played the role in Return of the Jedi? 35, 36, not that much older than me, but just with heavy makeup. And now he played him again at the right age, and then he played him again in Rise of Skywalker. So he's played him a lot.
Yeah, but you don't need the heavy makeup, do you, Ethan?
No, shut up.
That's because he is our Obi-Wan. I think it's Connor who's our Palpatine.
Oh, I thought it was Lee.
Oh. Yeah. I'm mostly Jabba.
Oh, jeez. Oh, come on, mate. Don't be hard on yourself like that. Jesus. But yeah, Ian McDiarmid in this is brilliant. He's always been great as Palpatine. He's just so good. I mean, I love his little lightsaber, how he gets that out of that sleeve. I mean, that's just a cool bit where it just goes whoosh. I mean, this old guy, and you're thinking, what's he going to do? And us old fans were thinking, is he going to do the lightning thing yet? But then he just goes all Dragon Ball Z on their ass, ninja style, cuts them down, no problem. I do agree with Connor. One of the best fights in Star Wars is between Yoda and Palpatine, Sidious, whatever. That could have been a lot more. It's great. What we got was great, but I think there could have been so much more, especially how powerful they are. That could have been something that could have been really destructive, and it could have gone really chaotic. I would have loved to have seen something like that. But I do love the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. That is a really good duel of the fates. I mean, I can't help but laugh at the bit, you know, like, you know, it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. You underestimate my power. Don't try it. Boom. I mean, we've had memes of that, like with bloody Shaggy and Scooby saying the bloody lines. Which is freaking hilarious, by the way. Look that up. I mean, you know, it's over, Raggy. I have the high ground. You underestimate my power, dude. No trying.
It might have been better that way.
It's just brilliant. I mean, one thing people have not said, and I know it was only a small bit at the end, I love James Earl Jones. Every time I hear him as Darth Vader, and that bit when he came on and did the voice of Darth Vader, he's finally transformed into Vader. I mean, that's the bit everybody was like, oh, there it is. And when you hear James Earl Jones's voice, it hits the nostalgic heart. You know, that's Vader. James Earl Jones is
Thank
Vader.
God for that, 'cause I thought you was going to say Jar Jar Binks' appearance.
No, thank God we didn't get Jar Jar Binks, but I just love James Earl Jones in this. And like when he appeared, just that voice. I mean, okay, we get the classic no, but it's great when you see how it all changes from the prequel trilogy, and it gets more classic trilogy. You know, with the Rebel spaceship that you saw at the start of A New Hope. You see that. I love how you see that. How it transitions their costumes. How you see the not well, you do see the Death Star, but you see the ships that they have, the sort of pointy ones with the little balls on it for the Empire. How you see that, and you see a young, Peter Cushing's character, and there's the Emperor in his robe and stuff, and there's Vader looking at the creation.
Moff Tarkin.
That was it. That was it.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Grand Moff Tarkin, yes. But yeah, I think those are my favorite bits actually. Yeah, I mean, I've already said Ewan McGregor's lines. Oh, that was one. Oh, I don't think so. Boom. Fucking Saints Grievous flying. You couldn't do that before, mate. But Grievous is a great character. He's great. I mean, I love that whole multiple lightsaber thing. I think those are my favorite moments. Those were the bits I actually picked out beforehand because I thought, let everybody else do their say and stuff. But I thought that one, and especially bloody R2-D2's getting the top marks for being brutal character.
So, Grievous's character was developed a lot also in the animated.
Yeah,
you get a lot.
Because I remember the episode where you get to see who he used to be, that he did have a humanoid form, but he was dying or something, and he got cut down to pieces until it got to the point you see him as Grievous, which was pretty cool actually, pretty dark, but it was really cool. I love it when it gets dark.
So do I. Then I go to bed.
But yeah, those are my favorite moments. Those are my favorite moments for Star Wars. My choice of favorite moments. And of course, Christopher Lee. I have to mention Christopher Lee. Small bit, but it's Christopher Lee. What a god of an actor.
Cool. Is it my go now?
No, bugger off.
All right then.
I'm joking.
I've got a couple of questions. Well, a question. He names Anakin as Darth Vader, right? Now, does he name his apprentices like we name our storms? Or where did he get Vader from?
Just got a big list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go with Vader. It sounds threatening.
No, it's because of what he's expected to do. Sidious was expected to be insidious. Plagueis was supposed to plague the universe.
What did Maul do?
Maul was supposed to maul people.
I knew that was coming.
Horns.
Oh, no.
So what's Vader?
Invasion.
Ah, well, I just thought he had a list and he was working his way through because it could have been Darth Vader.
Maybe, but I think it's what they're supposed to do.
I'll go with Darth Philip. No, not Darth Philip. In a universe that might not be right.
It should have been Darth Sand.
Oh, Darth Sand. What made you angry and get revenge on those Tuscans? You do it to the rest of the universe.
Sand in my egg sandwiches. Yeah, that was just a question mark's always been in the back of my head. Why Vader? Anyway, yeah, I loved for me.
So why is Dooku a count?
You know why?
Because he was a count, and it was Lord Tyrannus. He was supposed to be terrible.
Do you know why? Do you know why he was called Count Dooku?
Is it because he's a count?
No, because it was George Lucas's homage to Christopher Lee playing Count Dracula. Count.
Oh, so it's not the fact that he's a count.
No, he said to him, "You don't mind if we name the character Count Dooku? Just a bit of a play on Count Dracula."
What if George Lucas was subliminally trying to call him a count? Minus the
Oh, you'd never do that.
Would George Lucas be that
No.
much of a tosser?
No. I think he was in awe of Christopher Lee.
Who isn't in awe of Christopher Lee?
Yeah. Anyway, you've just thrown me off me. I just loved the transformation of Palpatine to the Emperor. He became the laughing villain of this movie matinee, didn't he? He was laughing and like a manic villain. That's what we need. But I always
he was like your shirt. You're wearing the Joker shirt.
But it's just like, as well, the way his posture changed. I mean, because of the makeup, but his posture, the way he walked with his hands down. Yeah, the Emperor always walked with his hands facing down like that. You know, he never did when he was Palpatine. His hand was always like that, like Nosferatu. You know, now you're thinking, oh yeah, I've seen that connection there. Nosferatu used to walk like that, didn't he?
Yeah, I remember in Return of the Jedi where he appears. He's walking down this the bridge of the ship. Rise, my friend.
but for me, I love the character General Grievous, because that was the first time I'd seen that character in this movie. So I wasn't on the wiser of the animation, and I just loved the character, and I was a bit upset that he got destroyed in the first half hour of the movie. But I soon discovered he was in the animation series, so I've seen a few episodes of that. But I did love. You've mentioned that you're still flying half a ship and all like that, but where the ship is diving down towards the planet, I just love that. There's Palpatine, there's Anakin and all that running and carrying the unconscious Ben down and it's going down, it's running, then also it tilts and they're going down the lift shaft, and that's so it's comedy, but it's action at the same time. It's just brilliant. And you've mentioned R2D2. Yeah, what a badass in that docking bay. And you say it's like butter would never melt in his rotors. And it was good to see the fight scenes. I agree. Emperor, and was he Emperor at the time? Yeah, he was. No, Sidious, wasn't he at the time?
No, Emperor. Yeah, he became Emperor.
Fighting Yoda. That was a brilliant scene. And you felt for Yoda. You did feel for him because he was sort of outpaced every time. But it was good to see Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight, what we knew, sort of what happened at the beginning of this legacy back in 1977. This was what you were waiting for, how he became Vader, this fight, what Obi-Wan had told Luke, oh yeah, your father had died, and then you saw the iconic bit, Obi-Wan picking up Anakin's lightsaber. He picked it up, then giving it to Luke in New Hope. But so there was all these little things what tied everything together, which was just so well done. So anything else would like to say about this movie before we go to final say and score?
Apparently, when Anakin beheads Count Dooku,
oh yes,
if you pause it at the right moment, you can see the head roll.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. First. I did have to pause it. I just got it. I was like, oh, look at that.
Apparently, you can do that with all of the beheadings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can. Yeah.
I mean, I think Jango Fett's beheading is the most overt. You see the head
Yeah.
in
Only
that.
because, of course, he's got a helmet on and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
But the other beheading that was right around the same time was Grievous's droid Jedi fighters or Jedi killers, and he beheads all of them.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan was he was really badass in this. I mean,
It was good. I do love Obi-Wan in this.
Is a preamble to, how, especially when we're going to get the new Obi-Wan series. I mean, come on, that's going to be full of it. I mean, apparently he fights Vader in that one again, with Hayden as Vader in the suit.
Now that's the question. Is James L. Jones doing the voice?
99% sure, yeah.
So why get Hayden to wear the costume?
Maybe he might take maybe he might take the helmet off at one point. You'll see his face.
Yeah, like they're doing the Mandalorian sort of thing.
Yeah, the way they take the helmet off, because that happened in the comics sometimes. Sometimes he would take the helmet off, and you would see his face.
Yeah, but he did do that in the original trilogy.
Yeah, where that soldier came in, and you see him put the helmet on, and the guy was like, "Ooh."
Anyway.
Actually, there's one complaint I've got to point out. I've just remembered this actually. As much as I said R2D2 is a badass, and he really is the biggest badass in this series, the poor bloody guy, after he just burns them, and he comes on that next scene. Where's R2D2? Wow! Crashes, and there's all those droids going, "Stay where you are." What he does is bloody electrocute one of them and it kicks him down. Poof! R2D2 goes, "Oh!" I was like, "Get up, man! You just burned the living shit out of someone. Now you're just going to let them kick you around? Come on, mate! You can take down all of them."
I would love to be a fly on the wall when Ethan's watching one of our review movies, just to see his reactions when he's watching them.
That was my one complaint. I was like, "Mate, you've just burned those two to a cinder. To bloody well done, droids, and now you just let this one kick the shit out of you. Come on, son."
I don't know. Right then, we'll move on to Final Say and Scott then, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, why not? Go on then, Ethan. Back to you.
I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I would give it an 8 out of 10, actually. Because there's other ones that I would rate higher, like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. But I'll give this one an 8 out of 10.
Cool.
Just for R2D2 burning the crap out of those droids. and Ewan McGregor in this just had 2 phrases. We've still got half a ship. And the best pickup line ever. "Hello there."
Can I just ask, have you ever used that pickup line?
Yes, and it worked. It was in Miami. And it worked. Because and the best part was, the girl actually said, "Oh, you sound like Obi-Wan Kenobi." I was like, "Yes!" Because I've been from England and stuff, so I put on the English accent best I can.
Result!
"Hello there." And they were like, "Oh."
Was you dressed in a brown robe?
No comment. No, I'm joking. I melted blood in Miami.
Right, Susan.
All right, I'll go half a point higher, and I'll give it 8.5 lightsaber battles out of 10.
Cool.
And I really do love Star Wars a lot. I think that it's got in it some real political savvy, some real emotional manipulation, and some real awesome fights, and so some real awesome wars, actually, full on wars. And so yeah, I'm glad we can experience this stuff as in fiction and not in real life, because someone like this is would be impossible to overcome. You know,
Damn.
impossible.
What was I going to say? It was good to see that C-3PO had his pilot license. Just came into my head then. Over to Connor.
I'll give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
It was the best of the prequels. Yeah, that's all I can really say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it 8 high grounds out of 10 because out of the 3 prequels, this is the best, and I enjoy it more than Attack. You know, for what the movies are, you know, this is the best out of the 3. So yeah, that's my score. So I'd like to thank Ethan, Connor, and Susan for talking Revenge of the Sith. So you guys out there, please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the movie. Let us know what we could review in future casts. If you want to be on the cast, let us know. You know, leave in the comment. Let us know, or message me on. You know, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're all over the place, and on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and please press the bell button, because if you do that, you get notified every time we put up a video. Oh God, there's Ethan and his bell. Yeah, we got to keep him amused, because otherwise he'd be roaming the streets. Yeah. So until next time, please be careful, be safe, and remember, look after your Wookiee.
May the force be with you.